unapologetic, unadulterated, preferably undistorted, and uncompromising. This is the BlackChannel.net radio. And of course, there's a lot on my mind, as there always is. For those of you who are new here, we'll be starting to take phone calls here in the next 20 minutes. I'm going to start taking phone calls early because there's a lot to take care of. But in the meantime, I've got a lot to cover here. And I'm going to try to cover as much of it as I humanly can. I say a lot of things. And I try to make as many predictions as I can, because there are not very many people who are going to tell you what's happening in a way that's actually going to make sense for you, but I attempt to do so. And I've made predictions. I won't harp on this very long. I'm just going to do this to show you that we need to make sure that people understand exactly what we mean when we say that this is the haven of intelligent black talk, because you can't be a place that says we specialize in intelligent black thought and then not be able to tell people things that they didn't already see coming. So what I'm going to do now is I've just got something I want you to hear here, okay? I have something I want you to hear, and then you can make up your mind for yourselves about whether you should be listening to us or not, or whether other people actually even know what they're talking about. I've only got one question to ask you here. Did I call it, or did I call it?
If it makes you happy, I will remove all of the black people from my Instagram.
You said that before. You said, I understand.
I did remove the people that were independently on my Instagram that are black.
Then why did you start saying that you didn't? You just said you didn't remove them. You didn't remove them.
I didn't remove Matt Kemp and Magic Johnson.
Why?
But I thought Matt Kemp is mixed, and he was okay, just like me.
Okay.
He's lighter and whiter than me.
Okay.
I met his mother.
You think I'm a racist? And
I don't think you're a racist.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I think you...
Evil heart.
I don't think so. I think you have an amazing heart, honey. I think the people around you have poison mind and have a way of thinking.
It's the world. You go to Israel, the blacks are just treated like dogs.
So do you have to treat them like that too?
The white Jews, there's white Jews or black Jews. Do you understand?
And are the black Jews less than the white Jews?
100%, 50, 100%.
And is that right?
It is a question. We don't evaluate what's right and wrong. We live in a society. We live in a culture. We have to live within that culture.
But shouldn't we take a stand for what's wrong and be the change and the difference?
I don't want to change the culture because I can't. It's too big.
But you can change yourself.
I don't want to change. If my girl can't do what I want, I don't want the girl. I'll find a girl that will do what I want. Believe me, I thought you were that girl because I try to do what you want. But you're not that girl.
There's no need to get upset. No need to get...
I just see what I'm living with, what I'm dealing with.
I'm sorry, I didn't do anything.
You never do anything and never anything wrong.
But I didn't do anything.
You upset me.
I upset you. You made yourself upset.
No, that's not true. You didn't start off by saying, honey, I understand we're living in a culture. We can't
Because
change
I don't see your views. I wasn't raised the way you were
Well, then,
raised.
if you don't feel, don't come to my games. Don't bring black people and don't come.
Do you know that you have a whole team that's black that plays for you?
Do I know? I support them and give them food and clothes and cars and houses. Who gives it to them? Does someone else give it to them? Do I know that I have? Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? And these are 30 owners that created the league?
I'm not going to bring...
No. I support them and give them food and clothes and cars and houses. Who gives it to them? Does someone else give it to them? Do I know that I have? Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? That I have. Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? And these are 30 owners that created the league? Who makes the game? Do I make the game or do they make the game? And these are 30 owners that created the league?
I'm not going to bring any black people to the stadium.
Well, is it easy to say that?
It's very easy for you to say that.
For you to say that?
I won't say that to anyone. I would never ask anyone not to bring someone based on race or color or culture. It's like saying, let's just persecute and kill all of the Jews.
Oh, it's the same thing, right?
Well, isn't it wrong? Wasn't it wrong then with the Holocaust? And you're Jewish. You understand discrimination?
You're really a mental case. The Holocaust we're comparing with
racism, discrimination.
No racism here. If you don't want to be walking into a basketball game with a certain person, is that racism?
I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time dwelling on it. I just wanted to put that out there, just so I could ask the one simple question: did I call it, or did I call it? And are you letting your friends and family know that you found the place that called it before you ever even heard the audio from it? No, I don't think you're racist. Wait a minute, you want the Ferrari back, you little bigot? Who makes the game? You have black people on your team. Do you know that? Of course I know that. I give them food and clothes and cars and houses. That's right. See, you thought you were just getting a check and he didn't know that he was the hand that fed you. You wanted to act like he didn't know that. I put that out there because I wanted people to understand that this is something we should have been aware of a long time ago. And how many people were actually concerned about that? Hell, how many are still concerned about it today? That was the piece of audio that I was looking for, while all the rest of you are worried about whether or not he likes you or not. Because there are a bunch of people even listening to this broadcast who just want Donald Sterling to like them. Well, that was the piece of audio that I was looking for, where he outright says, I feed them and I clothe them and I give them cars. And that is why he knows that he can talk to them any type of crazy, because he is the one doing that. He is providing it for them. They are not providing it for themselves. And as I told you last night, that means he gets to spit in your face and insult you and whore out your mother and make you smack your mama on the rear end while he's doing it. He doesn't have to do it. He gets you to do it. Are you starting to understand that it's real yet? Is that starting to sink in for you? For some of you, maybe not. But that's why I just wanted to play that for you, so you can hear it for yourselves. And now you can tell the rest of us whether or not we actually heard that. I told you a long time ago that the beginning of the 21st century sure is starting to look a whole lot like the beginning of the 20th century, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is. But there are other things going on out there, and I want to get to those. Did you all know that South Africa is commemorating their 20th anniversary of democracy? Did you know that? How many of you were aware of that? How many of you were aware that South Africa is commemorating its 20th anniversary of free elections? Story says South Africans, this is from Associated Press, Johannesburg, South Africans on Sunday celebrated 20 years of democracy with song, prayer, and praise for those who guided their country into a more peaceful, tolerant era. Although some noted that economic inequality and other problems have undermined the nation's promise since the first all-race elections ended white rule on April 27, 1994. The focus of the Freedom Day commemorations was in Pretoria at the Union Buildings, the century-old government offices where President Jacob Zuma and dignitaries, including foreign diplomats, gathered to reflect on the long struggle against apartheid and ensuing efforts to build a better country. The anniversary precedes elections on May 7th that are likely to see the ruling African National Congress return to power with a smaller majority, reflecting discontent with the movement that opposed white domination before its candidate Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president. In a speech, Zuma and South Africa had a good story to tell, referring to its stable electoral system, its constitutional commitment to human rights, as well as advancements in health care, welfare grants, and water and electricity in the past 20 years. Close to 3 million houses have been built since 1994. Women play a far more prominent role in public life, and crime has declined, even it remains an issue of serious concern, he said. We must not deny or downplay these achievements regardless of our political differences or contestation at any given time, including the election period, Zuma said, who has been criticized because more than $20 million in state funds were spent on upgrading his private rural home. The scandal comes amid a troubling inequity between rich and poor that the government says is partly a legacy of old racial divisions, noting that the income of the average white household is 6 times that of a black household. One more time for those of you still living in denial. In South Africa, the income of the average white household is 6 times that of a black household. 20 years after apartheid. How much power, wealth, and resources, how much power, wealth, and influence have Africans in South Africa seized for themselves? In 20 years, and whites are still making 6 times as much money as black South Africans do. You're 90% of the population. These people are occupiers who've stolen what you have, and yet you are telling us all that you have no choice but to be their boy, even as you are 90% of the population. Still think that it's a matter of white supremacy. Still think that it's a matter of bastard households. Yes, that has a part to play in it, but is that what's at work in South Africa? After 20 years? You're in charge of the population, you're in charge of the government, and yet white people still rule? After 20 years? 20 years later, and white people are still telling you what to do and what you can have. But you're going to blame that on what? White supremacy? Answer me this, people. At what point do you have a right to retake your homeland? At what point do you stop asking the people who stole your homeland from you for permission to take it back? At what point do you decide that you take back your homeland? When does that occur? When does that occur? I'm trying to make the point to you that there is no difference between the players on the Clippers and black people in South Africa and the average black American. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. But you don't want to hear that. Election candidate Julius Malema, one of the few sensible voices in South Africa, I might add, the expelled head of the ruling party's youth league and now a leader of an upstart party that wants to redistribute wealth. Redistribute wealth. Wow, isn't that amazing? They don't call it reclaiming what you've stolen from us. They call it redistribute wealth. That's right. White folk are going to make sure that they frame the terms of the discussion before you even get started. That's right. You're not retaking what was stolen. You are redistributing wealth as if they somehow got it fair and square. And didn't get it by killing, murdering, raping, and pillaging. Yeah, let the Associated Press tell it, and white folk have been there forever, and the Negroes just showed up 20 years ago, and the whites are trying to build a more tolerant society for the Negroes who just magically appeared 20 years ago on white soil in Africa. Let them tell the story at the Associated Press, and that's what you walk away with. Malema told supporters that events surrounding Freedom Day, which is a national holiday, are a sham because many poor South Africans still lack basic services. Quote, "For as long as you don't have your dignity back, you have nothing to celebrate," Malema said this week, according to local media. Messages of congratulations to South Africa for the 20th anniversary of democracy came from around the world. Quote, "My family and I have enjoyed a special and significant relationship with South Africa over the years," Queen Elizabeth II of Britain said in a statement. "The links between our two countries have deepened and matured since South Africa's transition in 1994, and long may that continue." Go ahead. Go ahead and talk about your basketball playoffs. Every single black person on Facebook in America should be listening to this broadcast tonight, because this is the only place that is talking to you about real, substantive, sensible things at a desperate and crucial hour for us. Nobody else is discussing about South Africa. Nobody, just us, right here. Just me. Nobody gave you the insight about Donald Sterling that I did, Professor Black Truth did, that the Black Channel did. Just us, just me, right here. Everybody should be letting their folk know that, hey man, I ain't playing no games. This is the hour. This is it. This is the time. We should be doing something sensible. But narrow is the path that leads to salvation, and few there be that find it. You would much rather hear me tell you that it's okay to watch your basketball games. That's what you're looking for me to do, is to give you a way to say that. And since I'm not giving you a way to say that, you are saying to yourselves, okay, well, never mind. I'm not really interested in that black first talk stuff. No way. Did you know that the average South African youth doesn't even know what apartheid was? These children are 20 years old and do not know what apartheid was. Why? Because their families said, you don't have to remember that. Their families have no concept in South Africa. Forget across the continent. In South Africa, they are not teaching their children that they are black people and Africans. In South Africa, you all remember 4 years ago when I gave you the story from CNN, it showed the average teenager in South Africa did not know what apartheid was, even though they are the children of the post-apartheid era. Their parents did not tell them. Jewish families taught their children never forget. Africans and black people have taught their children never remember. Never remember. Be ashamed. Bow, scrape, crawl like dogs to your captors and your oppressors. See if you can bag a white husband or a white wife. That is your goal in life. Try to exterminate and annihilate your blackness. This is what black people are teaching each other in Africa. You cannot blame that on white supremacy if you are a self-hating dog. They have not taught their children what apartheid was. And yet you want me to give them a pass. I don't think so. I want to ask you all, how hard is it to start your own business? That's something I want to ask you here. And then I'm going to go to the phone lines. How hard would it be for you to do that? I guess it depends on who you are, where you are, and what you do. By who you are, I mean it depends on whether or not you're black. Where you are, I mean it depends on whether or not you're black. And what you do, I mean it depends on whether or not you're black. I want to read one story to you here, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to the phone lines. But I'll just go ahead and open them up now. From Yahoo Small Business, Adriana Burke. Ronan Lockman, well, the headline is, an entrepreneur built a multi-million-dollar business with Lego pieces. That's right. He turned Lego pieces into a multi-million-dollar business. Ronan Lockman says his million-dollar business came to him in, quote, one of those moments you realize you're doing something wrong as a parent. His mistake? Spending more than $5,000 on Lego toys over the years. It's not that he doesn't enjoy seeing his son build superstar destroyers. I'm proud of him, Lockman says. He drops everything else for 2 or 6 hours and can say, look at what I've done. But then he moves on to something else and you're stuck with a $400 piece of plastic. Lockman decided it would be more cost effective as well as environmentally sound to lease Lego sets and return them when his son tired of them. Let me repeat that again. He decided to lease Lego sets and return them. He decided it was more cost effective and environmentally sound to lease Lego sets and return them when his son tired of them. Of course, no such service existed, so he built one. Brothers, that ain't got a damn thing to do with whether or not your women respect you. That's got nothing to do with whether or not your women bow to white supremacy. That's got nothing to do with who you work for. He said that I wanted to do this for my kids. This would be the best economic infrastructure for me and my family. There was no such business out there. There was no such service out there. So he said, hey, that means that I'm the one who's supposed to be making it. try to get the average black male to see the world that way. They will hit you up with a ton of excuses for why they can't. And this is why most other people refuse to talk to us or do business with us, because we are the people who come with excuses. They want people who come with solutions. His Lego subscription service, Play, spelled P-L-E-Y, started small. Lockman invested his own savings to establish an e-commerce website and buy hundreds of new game sets. He began a year ago. Let me make sure this damn thing is on, because the story is dated April 25th, 2014. He began a year ago shipping them to renters from his garage, while the average black male is trying to figure out how to spend his money on rims and shoes and laying up with his girlfriend, because that is his contribution to Earth. These other people are being productive, and then you wonder why they are taking away your right and your ability to exist and live. The average black male would use his garage for storing some old car with new wheels, or some place where he would record himself having sex with his girlfriend so he can upload it to World Star Hip Hop. And it wouldn't even be his garage. It would be his mama's or his girlfriend's or whoever they're renting from. It wouldn't even be his, by the way. But you want respect, and to talk about how the women are supposed to respect you, and how white supremacy is just so insurmountable. And then we look at this guy here and ask you, well, he built an online business. You can't blame racism because people never would have even seen you. So you can't say they wouldn't have dealt with you because you were black. They couldn't even see you. So what's your excuse? There is no excuse. You're just cowardly and afraid. And that's why these other people treat you like the hoes you are. I'm referring to the males right now, not the females. And yes, I intend for it to insult you, because your lack of courage is the greatest insult and humiliation possible. His Lego subscription business, Play, started small. Lockman invested his own savings to establish an e-commerce website and buy hundreds of new game sets. He began a year ago shipping them to renters from his garage. But what he calls the Netflix for Legos has grown 50% per month. Now Play operates from a warehouse in San Jose, California, next door to the real Netflix headquarters. Lockman's business model is so similar to Netflix, in fact, that he recruited former Netflix COO Tom Dillon to his board and poached several Netflix employees to help him build a technology infrastructure. When users come to our website, they can make selections from our catalog and add an unlimited number of items to their playlist, Lockman explains. We ship the first item on their list as it becomes available, and once they get it, they can keep it as long as they want. When they're done playing with it, they return it, and we ship the next one. The company owns some 40 million Lego pieces, offering a catalog of more than 300 games, and has shipped over 250,000 Lego minifigures across the country since May of 2013. Depending on the size and value of the games they want, more than 15,000 households pay $15, $25, or $39 monthly. Subscription fees were set based on interviews with thousands of Lego buying moms. Last month, Lockman raised $6.75 million in venture capital from investors who valued the 23-employee company at $20 million. Lockman attributes the rapid success to the brain power of the team. Several of his PhD employees developed an algorithm and database that can determine, based on weight, which pieces are missing from a game. Each set has between 200 and 5,000 pieces. We weighed every piece to the 100th of a gram and know exactly what a complete set should weigh, Lockman says. An imaging step will soon be added to the process to identify colors for replacement pieces. When a return game is received in a play warehouse, it takes 2.5 minutes to sanitize all of the pieces to FDA standards, replace any missing parts, and ship it back out to the next user, he says. Lockman is proud that Play is reducing waste and saving families money, and he says we're probably the only company in the world that teaches kids to share their toys. Remarkably, his business is also boosting sales of Lego products. A Play study revealed that kids who access the games through the subscription service interact more often with Legos and are more engaged with the brand than those who play only with games they own. That translates to sales of additional Lego products such as books and video games. Long term, Lockman says he plans to offer other educational game brands and expand the service globally. A former fighter pilot with a Duke MBA who competes in Ironman races, Lockman previously owned and sold an investment research company, but his dream, he says, has always been to work in a toy store. That's what I'm doing now. It's a dream come true. Now, will someone explain to me why a black man could not have done that already? I'm listening and I will take your calls. The phone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933 is your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. Join us. Let's get caller from 202. You're on live with the Black Channel. Okay, let's see if we can try this one more time here. Caller from 202, you're on live from the Black Channel. Well, you're on live with the Black Channel. I'm from the Black Channel. You're calling in. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Ronnie Greenfield, calling from Washington, D.C.
Okay, Ronnie, let me get you to take your phone off speaker or whatever you got going on right now, because I want everybody to be able to hear you, and your volume is really, really bad right there. So can you take it off speaker or Bluetooth or whatever you got it on?
Yes.
Because I'm sure what you're going to say is very, very important, and I want everybody to hear every scintilla.
Okay. All right, can you hear me better now?
Yes, brother. What's on your mind?
Nothing much, Mr. Black. Actually, I was listening, and I didn't hear anything that you said. I've been sitting here trying to figure out what was wrong with the reception.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure what was going on there either, but we've been discussing about the 20th anniversary of apartheid ending and a business called Play where they are leasing Legos just like Netflix does on a monthly subscription. So that's basically been what I've been talking about so far, but we don't do topics here on the Black Channel. We just do Black Intelligence, so anything that's on your mind is fine.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't have anything in particular on my mind. I just wanted to listen in. But since I'm here, I do want to say that your broadcasts over the last week or two have been extremely powerful broadcasts. You said some groundbreaking things, man, and I think that more people need to pay attention to what you're saying and stop focusing on personality so much. Because black people are very personality-driven people. We're not objective thinkers. We're not objective listeners, okay? So when I, try to, pass your information along to people, the first thing they'll say is, well, we don't like this guy. We have a problem with this. We have a problem with that. My question is he telling the truth? And is what he's saying going to help you or hurt you? Can you answer that? Well, we don't like him because of this and that. Well, that's not why we're here. We're not here to be liked. We're not here to make friends. We're here to improve upon our situation as black people because our situation is very, very detrimental right now. So that's pretty much all I had to say about that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, brother. It's very, very important that we as black people understand that everybody out there is squatting up, and they're squatting up on the sides of haves and have-nots. Now, you can keep coming to the table with a ton of excuses and a ton of procrastinations and every whiny excuse you want to, but understand, these other people have no mercy for your excuses. They have no pity for you. Nobody is taking pity on you for coming up with excuses. Everybody only wants to hear about your solutions and your answers. We are the people who give solutions and answers. Nobody wants to hear why you don't have the money or the capital. Everybody wants to hear what are your answers. The phone lines are now open. This is the only haven of intelligent black thought. You need to be giving us a call here at 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933 is your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence. Caller from 731, you're on live with the Black Channel.
Yeah, this is D.
Okay.
Hello?
Everybody's calling in tonight from their Obama phones, and they are just really muddled. What is your name
Can
again?
you hear me now? D. This is D. D. Brown.
Okay. You say your name is D?
Yeah, D. D-E-E-D-O-W-N. D. Brown.
And where are you calling from, D?
I'm calling from Philadelphia.
D, and what's on your mind, brother?
Well, what's on my mind, and this is what I don't understand, that everybody acting like about this man, this basketball owner, talking about how prejudiced what he was. But you know what? It was already prejudiced from the beginning, from the get-go. It was already there. So my thing is, why is we acting like we don't know that it just came here? It was already there. So what's the cause of it? These people was prejudiced, they was owners or whatever they may be, bank owners or house owners or what. Prejudice been here since day one. That's what's on my mind. And I can't understand why is we acting like it never was there. Hello?
Well, I don't think that anybody is acting as if prejudice was not there. I think they are taking it as some sort of confirmation of, oh, we always knew it was like this. My problem is, if you always knew it was like this, then you are just like his girlfriend, Stiviano. Why have you been supporting something that you always knew was like this? It's not that they're saying that they didn't know. They're trying to say that they did know. Oh, we knew it was all. This was always beneath the surface. Okay, then why have you all been such rabid basketball fans then?
Well, I never was a basketball fan. I'm not a basketball fan. The only thing I believe in is the truth is the truth. And the fact is a fact. It's not about I'm being a basketball fan. I'm all about the truth and reality. Hello?
Okay, brother, you don't need to keep saying hello, okay? It's really not necessary. If your call drops, you will know it's been dropped.
Okay.
You'll know. But black folk are not used to being listened to is the problem. Black people are not accustomed to other people just being quiet and listening while they talk. So black folk are used to having to shout over people and talk over people, which is why I don't allow that here. Because intelligent people do not have to shout over other people. Intelligent people can make a point and be heard, and then be quiet and listen while someone else makes a point and be heard. And then the audience can determine who has the better point or whatever the case might be, or what the real points are. But here, we actually listen to people. So that silence you're hearing, that tells us a lot about folks' upbringings, and that's why I want to bring them to this place so that they can get something different. You can finally be actually heard and listened to for the first time in your life. It's a wonder. The sound of silence when you're talking is going to take some time for you all to get used to that, but eventually you're going to learn to relish it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just saying for what I just got through saying. So it's just that we all, I'm gonna stay on that because everybody, got their own opinion. Everybody tied to their own opinion, regardless of what they say or what they do. So my thing is, I don't know. I'm gonna keep saying this because it's what I believe. We acting like you people saying, well, what is we going to do about it? We doing a lot of talk, but we actually doing that. We all talking what we should do, but I never seen no actions. There been things that I did and try to help the black community. But the more we talk about what the white people doing, how come we not doing nothing for ourselves as individuals? We need to start coming together as one, as a union, as a whole.
Well, when you say, understand something though. When you say the words we, who are you referring to?
I'm talking about the black community. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Now, you have to understand, you can't make progress unless everybody has the same frame of reference. The next question would be, who is the black community?
As the people, as the race, as one, as whole, the brothers, the sisters.
I am going to submit to you today that based on things like what we see from the players on the Clippers, based on things we've seen like the reactions of the quote fans, based on things like what we see from the reaction to how popular my program is versus other people who talk about absolutely banal and inconsequential things, I submit to you today, brother, that we are going to need to totally redefine and finally assign a definition of what, quote, the black community is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a term that's being thrown around, and everybody is assuming that everybody understands what that means. That means you are making an assumption that everybody understands the words black community the way that you do. And what I'm saying to you is that a person needs to qualify to be part of a community. That's not something you are just born as. It's like respect. You have to earn that. And without that occurring, I don't see how you're going to get anything else done. With everybody, we have 40 million black people, and guess what? That means we have 40 million different definitions of what the black community is. Everybody wants to argue about it. When I say black first, Negroes want to argue.
Mm-hmm.
No other group of people on the planet will argue with you if you say Greek first, Spanish first, Jew first, Asian first, Arab first, Indian first, Mexican first. Everybody else, there's no argument with them. We say black first, and other groups of people don't argue with us. It's only black people who want to argue with us.
And why is that?
Because everybody is looking for their chance to be masses boy. Everybody is waiting in line for Massa to come out the plantation and throw some cornbread on the ground so that they can fight and scrap for it, because they would prefer to live on their knees than to thrive on their feet. That's the truth about the average black person. Black people, we would rather live on our knees, groveling and eating the dirt, rather than actually be treated like human beings. We would prefer to do that. Anywhere you go on this earth, that's what you see from black people. It doesn't matter where you go. There is no place on this planet where black people are standing proud and ready to die for being black. Nowhere. I dare you to show it to me. Because if you can show that to me, you can show me a thriving black community somewhere. But you can't do that. And that is the problem. It doesn't actually exist. That's the problem. Now, we can try to look it up later, but right now, it's not there. It's not there.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, where is the hope then, if it's not there?
The hope is right here. Right here. With you and me and us and we. It starts with a small group of determined people who understand exactly what needs to be done. How many people are adherents to Christianity today? 3 billion people. How did Christianity start? 12 people. 13 if you count Christ himself. It started with 12. And actually, in reality, if you really want to get to the bare bones of it as far as who were the most effective people in it, it actually started with 3. Now, we're not going to count Christ himself since that's the namesake. John, Peter, and Paul. If you really want to get technical about it, as far as who were the major moving forces in that order, not in that order, Paul, Peter, and John. So it really started with 3, 3 very determined men. And what happened to all 3 of them?
Excuse me? What happened to all 3 of them?
Yes.
They died.
All 3 of them were killed. No, let's say it correctly now. You said all 3 of them died. Let's make sure we make it very clear. They did not die of natural causes. All 3 of them were executed. All 3 of them were executed for their crime.
Right.
Let's be very, very clear about that. All of them were executed.
They was executed for what they believe in, what they stand on. Yes.
Now, outside of this place, can you find a John the Baptist, a Paul, a Peter? Can we find any of them out there? There's probably a few out there, but my real point is that they're not in great supply, even with 40 million of us knowing exactly how oppressed we are. And I'm telling you that that is the spirit that is missing. And that is why it starts here, brother. I'm telling you all what I've always told you. Like he said from Terminator Salvation, don't ask where the resistance is. If you can hear this broadcast and you know you're not hearing what I say anywhere else, nobody comes back week after week after week after week consistently talking about this. This is the only place that does that. Do not ask where the resistance is. If you can hear this broadcast, you are the resistance. You are. So don't look around for, well, who gets it? You're the guy who gets it. You're in Philadelphia.
Okay.
You are in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is featured prominently in my documentary 7 a.m. And for those of you who are first time hearing about this, it is the only documentary in history that focuses exclusively on black socioeconomics and why we are the poorest people in the world and what we need to do about it. Is the first of its kind that ever focuses on why black people are the poorest people in the world, our lack of businesses. The first ever that does this. You can go ahead and get details at the website 7ammovie.com. That's 7ammovie.com. And I've been all over your city, man. North side, south side, I've been all over the city. Up and down Roosevelt, Front Street, Broad Street, the historic district, Comcast Tower. I can go down the list for you. That big concrete underpass on Roosevelt when you're heading toward on 76 when you're heading towards downtown. That great big concrete underpass that back there when you're leaving from that big spaghetti soup intersection. What was that, Adams and Roosevelt, I think it is. It's been a while. Adams and Roosevelt. Where they got that toe-down Walmart and that toe-down Home Depot. I can tell you some stories. That's right. How would I know all this if I hadn't been there? I've walked your blocks. Right. I've seen your hood. I know what's going on there. Black folk ain't doing a damn thing in Philadelphia. Tell me that that's a lie. Every hotel that I booked and stayed in out there was owned by whites and Indians. How would I know that if I hadn't been there? Not Asians now, Indians. White folk and Indians, that's all you're going to find owning the hotels. You might find a couple of Orientals. But white folk and Indians are who run the yard. And I know because those were the only people I could spend money with. I could not spend money with my people. 5 million people, 49% of the population is black. Black people are the majority ethnic group in Philadelphia and own and control nothing.
You're right.
I know because I've been there. I know because I spoke to Shalimar Blakely, Executive Director of the African American, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware African American Chamber of Commerce. I sat there and spoke to her myself. I asked the questions and I got the answers. I drove around and I could see what the answer was, but she was the last person that we actually interviewed. She was our last interview. And I was so glad that she was the last one because I had actually had a chance to drive around and look around. I thought Philadelphia was going to be something similar to Atlanta. And Atlanta ain't really nothing to write home about, to be totally honest with you. I thought Philadelphia was going to be more along the lines of that. I'll be damned. Philadelphia reminded me more of D.C. and New Orleans.
Okay. You're right.
Black folk own and control and run nothing in Philadelphia. But black folk on the majority of the city council. And the mayor's black. Can't help it when you get off the plane at Philadelphia International Airport. When you get off the plane, there's Michael Nutter's big face when you're going down the escalator. That's right.
Yeah.
How would I know that?
I'm not disputing it.
How would I know that if I had Alexa? Because some folk try to talk about stuff they really ain't doing and try to fool folk into think they're doing something. How would I know all this if I did not actually go in the last 12 months? How would I know all those things were there? I know they're there because that's what I saw when I was there. This is the real damn deal. So when I tell you that I'm going to give you a full report in 7 a.m., we're going to do that. But, brother, you are one of the few black folk who gets it. You are one of the very few who gets it. I went to a restaurant there which shall remain nameless. I'm not going to say any names. I went to a restaurant there that shall remain nameless. I got exact same restaurant now. I got good service from the Hispanics. I got good service from the white folk. I got crappy service from the 3 black females who were there. 2 of them were lesbians.
Okay.
I'll let you have the last word.
Okay, my last word is I just want to say I wouldn't argue by myself. I want to see that it just wasn't me. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see if it just wasn't me. So that's my last word.
Thank you very much for joining us. No, brother, it's not just you. It may be just you doing something about it, but it's not just you. The phone lines are, of course, open. Everybody likes to wait till the end of the broadcast to call in. This is your opportunity to call in and speak to your brothers and sisters from around the world. We've got hundreds of people listening. Black people need to commune in this way and speak about intelligent black discussion, and you need to join us. The number is 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933 is your personal access code to the blackest and most intelligent radio broadcast on the face of the planet today. Join us. Caller from 302, you're on live with the Black Channel. Okay, we've got a lot of noise going on back there.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you're on 302. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Terry, and I'm calling you from Toronto. But I'm using the VoIP to call you, so probably show a different number. I don't know. So I just happened to bump into your program, and basically I'm from the United Kingdom, so you probably notice the accent is a bit different from you guys. So you already clarified one of my questions, though. I was just going to say something similar to what the other guy said. He said something about black people need to unite. And I kind of agree to that. I think black people need to unite, but you kind of clarify that there are like 40 million black people with different definition of black community. But I think it would be a good thing if that can be defined, and we black people can unite as one and assist each other, right? Help each other whenever we come across each other. I think it would be a good thing to help one another. So that's one of my points tonight, because I was in and out of your program, so I didn't really catch the full program. Another thing I was going to mention as well, and I would like you to correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm just going to talk about the guy Starling, who was saying he put food on he feeds the black players, he gives them house, he gives them cars, things like that. I was just going to say, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I was just going to say that the reverse is the case, because these guys, he uses them as a business. This is a business, like a basketball is a business, and these guys generate income for the owner, right? So if you're saying you give food or you provide houses or something, like that for people who work for you, you kind of devalue them, you kind of underrate them, because these are the actual guys that work hard to bring income to your pocket. So those are the kind of 2 points I want to talk about. And if I'm wrong or if there's anything, I would really appreciate if you can give me your own feedback as well. Thank you.
Well, the thing is that he knows they are not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And that's the real point.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is he was articulating what most people are smart enough not to say. That he knows they are not going to bite the hand that feeds them.
Sure.
That was what he was just saying to her directly. I know that I'm paying for their cars and clothes. And remember what I said last night. To them, the most important things are cars, clothes, and hoes. And he's saying that I'm the one who gives them that. Okay, can you turn your speakers down for me? I mean, not down. I need you to turn your speakers off.
Oh, I'm actually using an earpiece. And my speakers are off, but I'm using an earpiece on my phone.
Okay. What it is that he knows he's providing the money. And as long as he knows that, that's the most important thing. When he said, who makes the game? What he was doing was he was calling your bluff.